had all of this cute footage of our gender reveal party, and lo and behold, I had no memory card in the camera. I was so disappointed. But we are having a Hi guys, and welcome to my pregnancy vlog weeks 25 through 27. I'm actually not quite 27 weeks. I technically have 2 more days before I'm technically 27 weeks, but I thought I would go ahead and put it through those times because I probably won't do another update until around 30 weeks because they're going to do another ultrasound then, and so I'll just wait for a more detailed update at 30 weeks. So, but anyways, as far as weeks 25 and 26 and everything has been going pretty good. So there's not really a whole lot to report. I have been getting a lot bigger, and I mean, I felt like I gained way too much weight in the last 3 to 4 weeks. It just felt like the pounds were just packing on. So that hasn't been the greatest. But I also do feel like the baby has definitely gone through a growth spurt. So hopefully, you know, we're over that growth spurt and things will calm back down, and I might just have to get a little bit more self-control going on my appetite. But yes, I am getting a lot bigger. I think I had my OB appointment yesterday, and I think I've gained a total of 18 pounds so far. So that's not bad for 26 weeks. It's a little bit more than where I'd wanted to be because I really didn't gain anything in the first trimester. And so I'm gaining a little bit more at this point. Over the last 3 to 4 weeks, I was gaining more than a pound a week. And I guess it's more that I'm concerned about than the number of 18. I'm not really concerned about that I've gained 18 pounds. I'm not one of those ladies. I'm just concerned that over the last 4 weeks I was gaining more than a pound a week, and hoping that that's not just going to be the trend through the rest of the 3rd trimester, because that's how it was with my first pregnancy. Once I started gaining, it just packed on. So then with my 2nd pregnancy, I was a lot more careful with what I ate, and I actually thought it was because I was just more self-controlled, but I'm actually wondering, was it just because he was a boy and I didn't crave the carbs and the sweets the same way that I am now? And I crave them. I crave the breads and the sweets, and yeah. So other than that, I am still having a lot of contractions. And most of the time they're just the Braxton Hicks contractions that don't really necessarily hurt. I did call my OB last Monday because it wouldn't have been this Sunday, but the Sunday or last Sunday, but the Sunday before that. That night I did have more contractions, because I think even with Braxton Hicks contractions, it depends on who you talk to, but some doctors do not want you to have more than 4 to 6 contractions in an hour, and he had actually said he did not want me having more than 3 in an hour. I just rested for a while and drank some water, and they stopped. So I didn't feel like I needed to call him. I didn't really want him to tell me to go into the ER. So I thought as long as they stop, I'll just call him in the morning and see if he's concerned with whether I have any dilation or anything. Because I'd also lost like a chunk of, sorry, this is TMI, but I had lost a chunk of mucus, which I've never done with any of my pregnancies before. I've never like lost the mucus plug. So it freaked me out a little bit. I actually called my friend who's a midwife and was like, what would you do? And she said, I'd lay down, and if they don't stop in 2 hours, I would definitely go in. But thankfully they did stop. And the midwife was very reassuring that, you know, it could just be a chunk of mucus. It didn't necessarily mean that I was dilating or that I was losing my mucus plug or anything like that. And the doctor basically said the same thing. Even though I've never had that happen before in any of my pregnancies, I've always just gradually lost my mucus plug leading up to delivery. You know, that doesn't mean that this pregnancy isn't going to be different. I would say I am having a lot more Braxton Hicks this time, a lot more contractions. I would say where I'm at right now, I would be about 2 months out. Like I didn't start having contractions like this until 2 months out from my delivery with my last pregnancy. But then with my first pregnancy, I had no Braxton Hicks contractions that I could at least tell that I was having Braxton Hicks contractions. So part of me is like, well, this is my third pregnancy, and I talked about this with my doctor, and he also brought up the point that I did have the hematoma. He said that does irritate the uterus. It will cause more contractions. So I have a couple factors playing in there to cause more contractions. And so for him, he's really relaxed. He feels really comfortable that I know my body, and that if things were to get too serious, you know, that I would know when to call him. Anyway, just that he still feels really confident that I'm doing well, that he's not worried. He's still not worried about the preterm labor, as long as I'm not getting into a contraction pattern that's not stopping. He's like, we'll just go with it, and we're still going to hope for the best that I'm going to go full term and everything's going to be fine and wonderful. So I've been having that round ligament pain, just that lower uterine segment. It's been very, very achy, and I know part of it's that I've grown so much in the last couple weeks. And then some of, well, sorry about that. My camera turned off in the middle of the recording. Anyway, I'm trying to remember where I left off at. We were talking about, oh, the hip pain. Yeah, I mean, we didn't go to the chiropractor last week because she thought that she had it all adjusted and that it was just doing well. And so she said, you know, we'll just see how you do. And then she wanted me to come back after my OB appointment because she really wanted to know where the baby's laying. And so when he was feeling around, she was like down actually into the opposite hip that was hurting. But I don't know if that was just causing an imbalance. And then she like kicked me really hard. And I think she may have moved because she didn't really like being pressed on. Because today that hip pain is almost non-existent. And so it makes me wonder if this whole time it's just been more how she was laying that was causing that pain in my back. Than anything else. I am really looking forward to going to the chiropractor since he did kind of feel around, and so I have more information to give to her. She's a really great pediatric chiropractor. She specializes in pregnancy and children and babies. And so she has a lot of techniques that she uses, like even if a mom is having a malpositioned baby, she adjusts the back and different things like that to try to open things up, to allow the baby to move around and hopefully get that baby turning. So she really didn't want to do more detailed adjustments until we knew more about where the baby was laying. So yeah, I'm really interested to see what she's going to say. Hopefully I'll see her this next week. So yeah, other than the hip pain and the round ligament pain and the constant contractions, just the other symptom would be just some nausea. Yeah. And I don't know, like, I had nausea all the way through pregnancy with my other little girl. And so part of me feels like, well, this must just be the way my body responds to carrying a girl. So, yeah. So I'll probably be dealing with that through the rest of the pregnancy, which will be fun. It's not bad. I don't throw up. It's just bouts where every once in a while just that wave of nausea comes over me, and I struggle a little bit. I might go run get some crackers, and I think that's actually why I snack a lot more with both of my girls and why I gained a lot more weight with them. Just because that really does help with the nausea, eating those carbs. And so then it is like that constant wanting just to be snacking on something. And, you know, I've tried, like I have some almonds right now, and as much as possible I want to like reach for something healthy like that. And if you guys have any other tips for dealing with that and the snacking and everything, and not allowing that just to balloon my weight out of control, because I ended up being really swollen with my first pregnancy. I would say it was unhealthy. Although one thing, as far as the weight gain, going back to that, one thing that I did think of is that I almost wonder, do I just have a number, like I have a pregnancy weight number, because with my first I gained well over 40 pounds. You know, and I was small to begin with, and I hit my number. With my second, I'd never lost the last 20 pounds from my first pregnancy, so I was 20 pounds heavier than what I had started. So even though I didn't gain as much, I think I still hit the same number. And so then I did a much better job. I mean, you can go and watch. I was running. I had my whole weight loss thing going on. So I did a much better job actually taking the weight off after my second pregnancy. And so even though the weight is coming back on quicker than it did the second time, I almost wonder, do I just have that magical number and every pregnancy I'm going to hit it? You know, and so, I mean, that would make sense why I'm gaining a little faster this time. Because if I'm going to hit that number again, obviously, I have to put on that weight. So, like, I don't know, what do you guys think? Like, is there, like, in your pregnancies, do you have that number and that's where you hit? And so you kind of just, no matter where you start off at, you're going to gain, you know, between 45 or 20 pounds, just depending on where you start. I'm very interested in knowing that. Okay, well, first my battery died and then the card was full. Excuse me. Anyway, just as far as Thanksgiving plans go, we had planned to travel down to Tennessee for Thanksgiving to be with my family. It's about a 10-hour drive, and just with some of the contractions that I was having and stuff like that, Joe just kind of feels very nervous about it, even though, like, I'm pretty sure that they're nothing and we're fine and everything. It just makes him nervous. I had thought about asking our OB to give me, I think it's the FFN test, or I'll have to look up the abbreviations for sure, but it measures a hormone that is produced by the placenta when you're about 2 weeks out from birth. And so it fairly accurately can say that you're not going to go into labor within the next 2 weeks if that hormone is not in place in your bloodstream. And so, you know, I think it's like over 90% if it says that you're not going to go into labor in the next two weeks, that it's like over 90% accurate. So it's like fairly good. I did talk to the OB about it, and he said, you know, as my doctor, he couldn't necessarily tell me not to go. You know, that physically there wasn't anything that it would harm me. You know, just, he said, get out and walk every 2 hours, take pretty frequent breaks. But then he did follow up and he said, but as a man and a husband, I would side with Joe at this point. And just, he just said he understood where Joe was coming from, in that desire in a man's heart to be protective over his wife and his child, and to make sure that it's the safest option, not just the okay option. And so he said, you know, as a husband, he would agree with Joe and prefer for me to stay closer to home. We are hopefully planning on doing a little getaway, because Joe has some time off this weekend. So we're going to go. Joe's mom and dad are going to watch Avi and Samuel overnight, and we'll get to go overnight for a night. Not like super far or anything like that, but it'll still be special. I am super disappointed not to be with my family for Thanksgiving. Yeah, I'm just really bummed about that. But like Joe said, there's always next year, and I'm just trying to keep that perspective. I'm still trying to talk some of them to coming up, you know, around Christmas time or whatever, so that, you know, we can see them, but they're wanting to wait until after the baby's here and then come. So we'll just see how it goes. Yeah. Anyway, other than that, I just need to give you a belly shot so that you can see how much I'm growing. So here is my belly. It's getting big. And for me, I don't just gain right here, but I think I grow out this way as much as I grow out this way. It's all in my thigh and my butt. Anyway, And then, oh, one more thing I did want to just touch on over the next few weeks before I want to update you about this at 30 weeks, and that is just the whole fear issue. Like even this whole thing with Thanksgiving and everything, of just like, I really want to take it by the horns and deal with the fear, because I don't want fear hanging over this pregnancy. I don't want fear going with us into labor and delivery. I had a really bad experience with our first pregnancy and childbirth. And I thought I'd worked through a lot of the negative emotions with my second pregnancy, and we went on to have an awesome birth. I'm finding that there are things that I need to work through, specifically letting go of, and my doctor was so encouraging this last visit, of just letting go of the fear that the baby's not going to be in a good position when it comes time to labor, just because of the hip pain and everything I was having, and because she was into the same hip that Avia got stuck in. You know, he was just like, you know what, we're going to work through this, you're going to be okay, this baby's going to be okay, your labor and delivery is going to be okay. And so just really needing to come to that place of saying that just because it happened this way once doesn't mean it's going to happen the same way. Like even if, you know, this baby was malpositioned and everything, just knowing that my doctor is going to be on top of it, that I won't be having an undiagnosed malpresentation labor, you know, where we don't know what's going on, which I need to at some point do a video so that you understand the whole backstory to that. But just really wanting to deal with those fears so that I'm walking in faith and in confidence and in hope, just really embracing it. I think like for Joe and I, like even Joe's whole perspective about this is like, it felt like there was so much drama in the beginning of this pregnancy and everything, and in his mind nothing has gone right with the pregnancy, and I really think we need to get over that and just work through some of those issues where we're not just like afraid to go to Tennessee. Like I understand why we're not going to Tennessee, I do, but like one of his big things was, you know, nothing's gone right so far and I don't want to risk anything else going wrong. He just doesn't want to take any more risks. So, you know, yeah, it's just something where I don't feel like as a Christian I want to live in fear, and as a mom I don't want to live just in fear. I want to be cautious, but I don't want to make decisions out of fear. I want to make decisions out of faith and love and joy. And so, yeah, that's something we're really going to be working on these next few weeks, and I'll update you at 30 weeks just how it's going. So yeah, keep us in your prayers. Anyways, it was great to talk to you. Sorry about all the interruptions and everything, but I really do hope you all have a great Thanksgiving, and I'll try to get my videos uploaded soon. Okay, thanks. Bye.